I think Mason Wynn is about as hungry as it gets. He said during winter warmup he wants 20 homers this season. And you look at his frame, you look at what he's known for, obviously the defensive ability at shortstop. Mason Wynn doesn't have to be a power hitter by any means.
We have Katie Woo with us. Always enjoy our conversations with Katie, but even more so now since she's officially part of the FT fam, the host of Cardinal Territory, along with Trevor Rosenthal. Katie, great to have you on. And personally, thank you for waiting a few extra minutes as we were hashing things out with Buck Showalter. And he actually took over at some time or a few various times throughout the interview where he was like, you know what, actually, forget Scott. I have a question for you. I have a question for you. So how you doing?
I'm great, guys. And I was listening to Buck, and I think there is, and as far as most engaging interviews, AJ and Buck, that's where it's at. AJ, nice of you to show up to one of my interviews, though. It's been a minute, so it's nice to see you.
You know why I showed up, Katie? Because this is what I figure. I figure with you running Cardinal territory now, right? That if they have Daniel Descalso on the coaching staff, John Jay, they have Mr. Freeze in town, right? And all Ollie Marmol's talking about how great they are. Listen, nobody of those three, including myself, so us four, is a bigger Cardinal legend than me. So I don't know why Ollie Marmol has not brought me in as a coach or at least a special advisor to something, right? I could be a special advisor to Katie Woo. We could talk Cardinal baseball.
We could do that. Should I go across the street and bang on Ollie's office and be like, hey,
100%.
what are you doing? Yeah, I got it. I'll do this right after.
Actually bang on Mo's door and be like, hey, listen, I got this guy. He'd be perfect for your front office. And then I want to know what Mo says. I want the answer.
He's going to say, ask Chaim.
Chaim likes me.
He'd be like, nope.
Chaim likes me. Chaim and I got drunk once at the bar in Houston after they lost. We had a long chat. Chaim and I are buddies.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Don't let AJ pander. Don't let AJ pander to you because he has never watched Cardinal Territory one time.
No, I haven't. I'm not going to lie.
I knew that. I knew that, and I'm glad that you were honest about it. But hey, for those watching, you're better than AJ. Watch Cardinal Territory.
I catch clips.
He does catch clips, and we ran a clip on yesterday's show. So there you go. But now, AJ, you've earned yourself a guest appearance. You're going to have to come on at some point with Katie and Trevor and give them the former Cardinal perspective. But let's hit storyline so we can talk to Katie about this current club that we need to hit on our test. Arenado awkwardness. Also, it's still a shocker to me that he didn't accept Houston. And will he open up that list a little bit more during the trade deadline time period if he's playing well? Mason Wynn, breakout season at shortstop. Will Winn-ter work to take his bat to the next level? Did he improve things? We'll find out. Let the kids play. Jordan Walker on line one and pitching assets to deal. Will Chaim Bloom, and yes, Mo, who's still running the club technically, but Bloom is waiting to take over in a year, and he's part of the org now. Will they sell off pitchers like Sonny Gray and Ryan Helsley at the trade deadline if this team is not good? All right, Katie, let's start at the top here. The St. Louis Cardinals did absolutely nothing during the offseason. They tried really hard to do something, and that was trade Nolan Arenado. It didn't happen. So I want to project forward. How do you see this playing out? What are the scenarios if he plays well and if he does not play well in the first couple months of the season?
Yeah, this is so interesting to me because all offseason long, we talked about if Nolan Arenado would be traded or not, and it went back and forth for 4 months. Now he's been at Cardinals camp for about a week now, and honestly, it's been pretty business as usual. I don't think anyone expected otherwise. Nolan Arenado is a pro. He's been in the game for over a decade, and he said it to reporters. He said it to his teammates. If I'm going to be in St. Louis, I'm going to give it all I got. Where the Cardinals go from here with Nolan is interesting because neither Arenado or John Mozeliak has closed the door on a trade, but it doesn't seem like anything is likely to happen anytime soon. And the reason I say that is because the whole reason a trade didn't take place in the first place is because of the stipulations from both sides just not really yielding a lot of results. We know that Nolan gave Mozeliak 5 teams that he would consider a trade to. He doesn't seem like he's going to he said at least that he's not going to expand that list. Among those destinations, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Padres didn't really seem to have a fit. So right now, everyone is just kind of stuck. Now, the Cardinals are moving forward with Nolan as their third baseman until further notice. But I think, again, it's going to be a topic that we revisit throughout the offseason. And there's so many different tangibles here that can affect the outcome of the situation, right? You mentioned some of them. Nolan Arenado could go out and have a bounce back year. There's been 2 seasons of offensive decline. He certainly isn't happy about it. If he goes out and he's playing well and the team is not playing well, well, there you have it. All of a sudden, that trade value is a lot higher than maybe it was this offseason. Now, if he goes out and the team is playing well and he's not playing well, then I think we're going to get to that awkwardness that maybe people alluded to before he reported to camp. The Cardinals don't feel the need to make any decisions right now. This is just something that they'll continue to revisit. Mo said it. He said, this is not a situation where I'm going to be like pouring through the waiver wire or scouting, like looking for injuries to see if there might be something out there. If something is presented to us, we will explore it. But there is no reason for us to continuously pound down the door like he did for the last 4 months. So they don't really know what's going to happen with Arenado. And the good news, I guess, for everyone involved is they don't have to. The Cardinals can move forward, business as usual. They'll, again, peruse the market every now and then. But for right now, they're committed to having, a 10-time Gold Glove winner at third base. Guys, that's not a bad thing to have on your roster.
Sounds like a good fallback plan. Now, as part of the retooling, since we won't call it rebuilding, nice problem that they have, they've solidified shortstop with Mason Winn. They would love for his bat to take the adjustments from the winter and take them to new heights with his bat. Is there something specific that Mason Winn wants from that work that he's put in, or is this all just a club thing and Mason Winn's like, you know what, I'm only 22, so I'll probably just improve even if I didn't do anything this winter?
I think Mason Winn is about as hungry as it gets. He said during winter warm-up he wants 20 homers this season. And you look at his frame, you look at what he's known for, obviously the defensive ability at shortstop. Mason Winn doesn't have to be a power hitter by any means to be valuable to the St. Louis Cardinals, but he certainly is not happy being a one or two type of tool player. And that's what I think Cardinals fans can get excited about for Mason Winn. Look, we know it's a down year. Very uneventful offseason, if you will. There's a lot of apathy around baseball heaven these days. But when you have a player like Mason Winn, who, in my opinion, solidified himself as someone that you can build your club around, and that's all what the Cardinals want to figure out. Who can they build around? And he comes to camp and he said, hey, I had a really good rookie year, first full season, played almost every game at shortstop, was a National League Gold Glove finalist, but I want to slug more. Just knowing that his body type and knowing that he doesn't necessarily have to be a power hitter, Mason Winn strikes me as a guy who is never satisfied. And he has a real legitimate opportunity to present himself as one of these key franchise players going forward. We know the Cardinals want to identify who in their current club can be part of that next core, that hopeful next championship winning core. And Mason Winn's mindset of trying to be the best player, regardless of the great season he had last year, wanting to be better, I think that's all you need to know about him. I think this is someone that, again, the Cardinals can build around. He certainly wants to be a 5-tool player. He has the defense. He has the arm. He has the speed. Now he wants the pop. Guys, I think he can do it.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of guys that were supposed to be there, Jordan Walker. Is it time where they just say, listen, Jordan Walker, you get 600 at-bats. You play wherever you got to play, whether it's right field, left field, shortstop, first base, catcher, whatever it is. We just need to see if you can hit. And then some of the other young guys, Victor Scott, who's going to be the catcher? Are they going to let the kids finally play in St. Louis and give them a real shot at solidifying themselves as the big leaguers?
This, to me, is the biggest question for the Cardinals this spring training. We spent all offseason listening to their narrative of opportunity, runway, let the kids play, a transition year. Now, here the Cardinals are on February 20th, so things can change. But this roster currently looks a lot like last year's roster minus Paul Goldschmidt. And the big question for them is, can they actually guarantee this runway that they spent the last 4 months touting to anyone that would listen? And I think they can to some degree. I don't think that Nolan Arenado coming back and playing third base impacts the playing time they have for guys like Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar. Of the entire group, Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, I think, are facing the most pressure internally to figure it out this year because they were both such highly touted prospects and because their ceilings are both so high if they could just figure out how to hit consistently. So I do think the Cardinals are going to prioritize finding consistent playing time for those two alone. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Jordan Walker in right field and Nolan Gorman at second base. The at-bats are what matter here the most. And, the Cardinals have a semi-flexible lineup in terms of roster flexibility, positional flexibility. So there's a way to bounce guys around. But the two guys that I expect to be mainstays in this lineup, really the bare minimum to ensure that this storyline, if you will, actually takes place is that Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman play every day.
Yeah, don't say flexibility. That's what got him into this situation. That's what got Jordan Walker using up his options. Don't say flexibility. People are listening. Mo is even listening too. So the question that I have for you is kind of have a little bit of veteran pitching. They have valuable veteran pitching on a team that's going to reboot. Is Chaim Bloom going to be trading these guys during the season at the trade deadline?
Chaim Bloom won't necessarily be making those decisions. John Mozeliak will. So this is another part of the transition year that I think is, well, I do understand where the Cardinals are coming from in their overall plans. I can't really recall a time in Major League Baseball as of late where there was a president of baseball operations and the next president of baseball operations kind of waiting in the wings, and they're working in tandem. So what's key to remember about this 2025 season is John Mozeliak is still calling the shots. They will be his decisions ultimately. Will he be discussing with Chaim Bloom on things that will impact the team past 2025? Yes, he's been very, in my opinion, transparent about that, how he will consult Chaim's opinion in these decisions because Chaim is the one that's going to have to face the consequences or manage through the consequences, if you will. But I think it's too premature to ask that question because, well, he's not going to go out right and say it. John Mozeliak doesn't want to go out like this. John Mozeliak doesn't want to go out with a losing record. He doesn't want to wave the white flag. And when you think about what he's accomplished in his career, I can understand that. I think if the Cardinals are hanging around come July, I don't think they're going to sell their assets. I think, if they were really committing to a rebuild, and to their credit, they have never said that word, even though we all know to a degree what they are doing. They would have traded guys like Sonny Gray if he wanted to. He has a no trade clause that does come into effect. But guys like Eric Betty, Steven Matz, Ryan Helsley, they would have been gone in November. Because they weren't, a lot factored into that because Mozeliak believes that his team can still contend in the National League Central. So I'm not sure if they're really going to depart any pitchers unless we get to July and they are just so clearly bottomed out by then in that division. But I mean, I think Mo's made it pretty clear. He still wants to win in his final year.
Wow. All right. Let's ask you, I got to ask you a non-baseball question. We had Chandler Rome on yesterday, 2 days ago. He's a Palm Beach guy. Have you been to the Square Grouper in Utiki yet? That's all I want to know. That's my question.
I go at least 3 times. I was literally at Square Grouper yesterday and Utiki on Sunday with Chandler. So
see, boom. There you go. See? Yep.
She's a member. She's a member
at Square Grouper. I don't know if you can join that place.
Yeah, it's a subscription.
3 times
You
a
get
week?
free food.
Yes.
I mean, listen, between Waxons, Square Grouper, Utiki, right? I mean, there's like a little lap you can do around Roger Dean. That's pretty fun.
There's Guanabanas out there. That's Trevor Rosenthal's favorite place. I was actually there yesterday as well. I kind of went on a little bit of a bar tour. These early days, AJ, before games, you can leave the complex by like 3 if you work really hard. And all of a sudden, you got a little bit of day drinking in you. Spring training's not all that bad.
What a humble brag by Katie. Katie said, if you work really hard like me, Katie Woo, you can go out and you can just booze up all
That was entirely sarcasm, guys. That was entirely sarcasm. I looked at my schedule and said, I don't want to do this today. I'll do it tomorrow. And I left early. So here we are. I believe it's
the beauty of spring training. Yes, you can get out early on before the games by 3, but what time do you have to get there in the morning?
That's true. AJ, you can
That's why you day drink. But that's why you day drink. So you can go to bed early and be up early, right? That's the now games are going to start.
You guys know this. Like, we spend 6 weeks acclimating ourselves to a schedule in spring training that we will quite literally never acclimate ourselves to again until this time next year. Why do we do this?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Great job, guys. Your body clock is at 5 a.m. and here's a night game. Here's a night game. Here's a night game. It's so stupid. I'm with you. Well, Katie, great to see you. Appreciate the time. Enjoy the Jupiter tour. AJ misses it. And here's Cardinal Territory with Katie and Trevor, and all the ways that you can obviously follow, subscribe, and make sure you're paying attention to what they're bringing to the table, which includes top flight interviews like Ali Marmol, Cardinals manager, was just on one of the latest episodes. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate you.
You got it, guys. Love seeing you. We'll talk soon.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.